Next one to get to here, and I can't believe some of the money differences here. Let's get to both James Daniels and Ben Bredeson. James Daniels, former Bear, former Steeler, goes to the Miami Dolphins on a 3-year, $24 million deal, but he's only 27 years old. It's not like this guy's...
He got drafted. He was like 19, 20.
Yes, that guy was super young coming out of Iowa.
Had braces.
He was good on the football field last year when he was healthy, only healthy for the first 4 games of the season. But, man, I think this could be a steal of the deal for the Dolphins. This is like where you win free agency is mid-tier deals. You know, when you sign a guy to a top-of-the-market deal, he has to play like a top-of-the-market player for that to be a value, right? You win free agency by getting a guy who's a mid-tier deal, and this one probably like less than mid-tier with the way the guard market's gone. 3 years, $24 million, and then he plays like a starter. So I think that's a great move for the Dolphins, great move for the Buccaneers, getting Ben Bredeson, 3 years, $22 million. These are starting guards in the NFL. Now, are they ever going to be confused with Pro Bowl guards in the NFL? Probably not. Is Aaron Banks, though? Is Will Fries? Have they made a Pro Bowl? No.
That's big bread. Big bread for those gentlemen.
This is where I'm a GM. That's where I'm playing for it. Now, sometimes you have, a window when you have the rookie quarterback deals that the Vikings do, or something like the Commanders, where it's like, let's take a swing. We got money to play with. Go sign a guy that we know is in his prime and he knows playing good ball. Sure, pay him a little more than he should. But the Bucs aren't that team right now. The Dolphins aren't that team right now. They're paying the quarterbacks. So you got to find your edges where you can. I think these are two guys you can find an edge.
James Daniels has position versatility, really bright player, technically sound. He's somebody that can help, upgrade your unit immediately. And, what I started with was positional versatility. If a guy goes down, he can kick the right guard, left guard. He can play the center position. And I think that's extremely important. As we've seen, it's so hard to keep offensive linemen on the field. It's just by nature of the game we're playing. James Daniels is the perfect option to have a little bit of malleability as it pertains to which position he's playing.
All right, next up, 31 on Pete Prisco's top 100, Dre Greenlaw, the former San Francisco 49er. We just touched on it a little bit, the 49ers exodus. But he goes to the Denver Broncos, 3-year, $35 million deal. Unfortunately, I think everyone knows his story. Tore the Achilles, running off the sideline in the Super Bowl against the Kansas State Chiefs. 34 snaps all last year, just could not get back healthy after that Achilles. So obviously some big risk in that injury coming back, but he's only going to be 28 years old starting next season.
Dude, that's a hell of a deal to get coming off of those 2 years.
And
at the end of 23 and into 24, for him to roll this into 3 years, $35 million is huge.
It is, right.
And for the Broncos, it's great because you're banking on this guy coming back with a vengeance. And he's at that age now where you can still recover and still come back, maybe even sometimes with more explosion. And when I think about Sean Payton's defense, when I think about Sean Payton's football teams, and we've talked about this before, I just think about hard-nosed people on the offensive side of the ball, hard-nosed formations, personnel on the offensive side of the ball. You got fullbacks, tight ends, the whole nine. Well, they've started to add these bruisers on the defensive side of the ball. And obviously they got a lot of skill there on the back end, but you add Hufanga in there and Greenlaw and a number of these guys. The only question is, can they stay healthy? And if they can, these folks in Denver are going to look like some brilliant dudes.
Yeah, I think if he would, he never tears the Achilles. Say he hits free agency after the Super Bowl year with no Achilles tear. He's signing $18 million a year, like the Tremaine Edmonds deal for his 18. Like that's where he's at. So you're coming in $7 million a year below what he would have been at had he just been healthy. Now, again, that's why you're getting him below that. But we've seen guys come back from Achilles before, and obviously, you can do the physical on him now to see where he's at, and maybe they did at some point this offseason. So hopefully, if the Broncos get Dre Greenlaw and Talanoa Hufanga healthy on that football field, they had one of the best free agencies of any team in the NFL.
Yep.
Truly.
Except for the Bears.
Okay. If the Bears, I'm just going to say this about the Bears.
Get it out.
They only signed day one free agents. Everyone and their mother knows day one
doesn't do it.
Is where you don't find value. Day one free agents are always
maybe Ryan Poles got
the guy
waiting in the wings.
Where you get the value free agents is it's like day 3, day 4.
The James Daniels
5 months, like a month before the draft.
The James Daniels
a month before the season starts. Yeah. Next one here before we'll go to some trade news that we saw. Kristian Fulton to the Chiefs. I really like this deal. 2 years, $20 million. To me, he had a big year for the Los Angeles Chargers last year. He was a guy who was good early on in his career with the Tennessee Titans. By the time he hit free agency, you had that play where he got punked by A.J. Brown and got hurt on that play, had a terrible season 2023. Goes to L.A., though, and I thought he figured something out. This is a guy who isn't, he's not going to be confused for Charvarius Ward or Carlton Davis. No one's confusing him for a top of, a guy who could really trail number one corner.
It's not what Spags needs.
But they just want to keep a full stable. Everyone knows, not everyone knows, but at the quarterback position, you're only as strong as your weakest corner when you play man coverage, because that's the one people are going to attack. So this now makes it so that your weakest corner is still a pretty darn good corner if it's Kristian Fulton. So I like this move from their part.
And with so many question marks for the Chiefs, whether it be offensively with the retooling of that offensive line, Tooney going out the window, the left tackle question marks there. They've answered some of this stuff here in the last few days. One thing that you can always lean on is that Spags defense and find a way to make that your strength. And we've taken a look at the Kansas City Chiefs, a team that historically has been offensive juggernaut with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. But it's this defense that keeps them in ball games. Get a guy like Kristian Fulton, and to your point, there's no weak links. There's no fish out there that these guys are trying to exploit every single down, because that's a nightmare to try to live with. How are we going to hide this guy on the field? Now you don't have a guy that you have to hide.
Exactly. Let's get to a couple of running back news. Najee Harris, Javonte Williams, two guys from, the 2021 NFL draft class. I think both were within the top 35 picks. And 1 year is $9.5 million for Najee with the Los Angeles Chargers. 1 year, $3 million for Javonte Williams with the Dallas Cowboys. I like these homes for both. I think Najee to the Chargers, he immediately, at least from a fantasy perspective, becomes a very intriguing back. That is the scheme you want him in. You want him running power counter. You don't want him running outside zone.
Yeah, he gets to be the hammer there.
Yeah.
He gets to be the hammer. He gets to be patient. He gets the opportunity to see the holes and then get that big frame downhill. People don't realize how big this dude is, Najee Harris. And when you walk up on him, it's like walking up on a horse. It's like, where do I put my hand
like an H-back
thing? And Jim Harbaugh, that he's fired up to have a guy like Najee Harris coming out of the backfield. Going to be a big help for Justin Herbert. Truly, he's a guy that the offense can go through down in, down out.
And Gus Edwards last year,
but that's great value.
The tank, unfortunately, had run out. He looked, I have him on my dynasty
He's
team.
been to hell and back.
And I remember watching him, week one, and he was splitting carries. Or J.K. Dobbins had got the majority of the carries, and I'm just I don't think he's ever coming off the bench. But I couldn't get rid of him because just in case. But he had the step was out. That's what you worry about with older running backs. Najee, though, there's tread on the tires, right? 200 plus carries, 4 straight seasons. The Steelers got their money's worth in terms of usage.
Yeah, they did.
They didn't get their money's worth in terms of effectiveness, but he'll, I believe, be more effective with the Chargers, especially behind that offensive line. And Javonte, this kind of gives the Cowboys flexibility. Everyone wanted to mock them on Ashton Jeanty, right? Ashton Jeanty 12, Ashton Jeanty 12, Ashton Jeanty 12.
Somebody else 12.
They don't have to. You don't have to. It'll be the Dallas Cowboys. Somebody else 12. I agree.
1 year, $3 million with the opportunity to add some stability in that backfield. It's good. That's a great get right there. That is a value get there for the Dallas Cowboys. And to your point, they don't have to splurge in that first round, high in that first round, to be able to get the running back. This guy's gotten the job done. He'll be able to continue to do that.